back to my channel, or for those that are new, my name is Jennifer. Today we're going to talk about the top 10 books that I enjoyed in 2025, and that includes my standout stack. So I filled out this page in my book journal, and I thought we could talk through my top 10 books and the rankings as if I had written this in, at the end of the year. And so let's start with book number that's in position number 10 as I wrote this. That one is The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I have the book here. It was a book club book that I took a chance on. Never read any Grady Hendrix before for Books in Lala, and so I enjoyed this one a lot. This is the only book I've only read by Grady Hendrix, but since then I have purchased, I think, one more. And so I'm excited to read more by this author to see if I really do enjoy this author. This is the most latest release as of today for Grady Hendrix, and so I really did enjoy this book for sure. Again, it's in my top 10. It is about following a group of girls that have become pregnant, and they weren't really educated or given any really great information, and then they were sent away to this home to have their child, and then they can go back home like as if nothing ever happened. This was during the 1970s. And so these girls are all stripped of their names, their identities, and given flower names. And so, yeah, so you follow these girls, and one of them, the main character in this book, she actually goes to a mobile library that comes to the home for the girls about once a month, and she gets a book of witchcraft from the library and sneaks it in and reads it. And then, as things happen, as they read the book and as girls get involved, and so they take some more power and autonomy back within their lives, and how whatever unfolds with this horror kind of, some horror stories as well. So I really did enjoy this one for sure. I gave it 5 stars. I think this whole stack is 5 stars, but I definitely would recommend this one for those that like books about women, institutions, women that have to find their own power in their own lives. And so, so I did really enjoy this one. And then I'm going to refer to this page for each of the books. So the next book is Worst Case Scenario by T.J. Newman. This is the second book that I read by this author. The first one I read was Drowning, and then this is probably their latest release as of today. And so I do not have this one physically, so I'll pop up a picture so you can actually see what this book looks like. I would highly recommend this author. She is very well written, well spoken, and keeps you engaged the whole time throughout this whole story. And so this one takes place, again, surrounding airplanes and things, and what happens if an airplane crashes into a nuclear power plant, and everything that unfolds for the people in the power plant, the surrounding town, community, and those that are emergency responders, and everything that unfolds with that during this scenario. So worst case scenario, exactly like the title says. So I would highly recommend this one as well. So then moving on to book number 3, I should probably say I have half of the books here with me physically, and half of them either I checked out from the library. And so so this one, the worst case scenario, I did check out from the library, so I would highly recommend that one for sure. And see if the library has it to save some money. But the 7th place book, no, the 8th place book. Yes, the 8th place book. Oh my goodness, is Sunrise on the Reaping by Susan Collins. This is a prequel to the Hunger Games series, so I won't spoil it too much, but it is 0.5 in the series, which is pretty funny because the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it comes before this one, and then there's this one which is 0.5, and then the Hunger Games trilogy. So I liked this one a lot. You get Haymitch's backstory and how why he is the way that he is. In the Hunger Games series, you just get a lot more information about not just his character, but several other people in the lives during the Hunger Games. And so I would highly recommend this one. You just know it's a Susan Collins book. as a writer. So I just think that's such a unique stance that you can actually tell right away that this is this author's writing. And I love that. And it's so unique, and it was so great to be back in its world. I'm very excited to hopefully see the movie for this book this next year. So that one would be a great one to check out if you have not done so already. And then from here, let's go ahead and talk about Moon Garden. So again, I do have this one physically, Moon Garden by Michelle A. Berry. This is a middle grade book based loosely off of The Secret Garden, the classic. And so I read this in conjunction with The Secret Garden during middle grade March, which is a readathon during the month of March, where you read a bunch of middle grade. And so I participated in that community. There's a booktube community for that. I'll link that below. But yeah, so I'm hoping to participate again this March in a couple months. And so I'm excited to see what they get up to. But I really did enjoy this space version of The Secret Garden, and I really enjoy. There's a trilogy, so this is the first book, Moon Garden. And so yeah, so it's about a girl that goes to school. I believe it's on Venus to start. So on the Moon Garden, duh. And so yeah, so she goes to school, and then in space on the moon. And so, and then she discovers this secret garden, and that is underneath a lab in one of the classrooms, and how plants are forbidden, they're dangerous, they're gonna kill humans, and so nobody can have any seeds or plants or anything living, and so other than humans. And so yeah, it's like, what happens now that she's found this garden? What will happen to her and her friends that she develops along the way? So I would highly recommend this middle grade series. It is a very quick read, but a beautiful cover as well. And so it is a trilogy that I would highly recommend. And so moving on to the next book, which would be Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook, which is a part of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. This is book 3 in the series. I want to make sure I have that right. Yes. Sorry. I read 6 of these books so far. I just got to make sure I have the right one. This is actually my all-time favorite of the series so far, up to the book 6 that I've read. 7 books are currently out, but this one takes place within the subway system, and how they have to survive this subway system to get out to the next level. And so I really did enjoy this book the most out of the series, and so I would highly recommend this one by Matt Denneman. It is about crawlers, when they like those that live on Earth. They are invaded by aliens, and then those that were outside, not underneath anything, not under a car roof, house roof, anything, if they were out in the open when they took over, then you were able to go down into the dungeons and actually participate in what's called the crawl, where you advance 3 levels and eventually maybe you can win your freedom or die trying. And so it's very humorous, it's very crude, it's very gory, but it is a fantastic read. And also I would highly recommend the audiobooks as well. I've gotten, I think, 3 of my friends hooked on this series. And yeah, so I'm very excited to continue and sharing and talking about this series as it progresses, with book 8 coming out in May. So I got to keep going with this specific series. Each book gets longer and longer, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, but each one, there's so much action packed within each one. But this is one of my standout favorite series for the year by far. So moving on to the next book, the one nonfiction book that I have in the top 10 this year, So Full Simplicity. Out of the 10 nonfiction books that I did read, So Full Simplicity was my favorite. I got the most out of it, enjoyed it, by Courtney Carver. I would highly recommend that one if you're just wanting to have a more simplistic life, right? Like just thinking about how ways to make your life better and not so chaotic and more rewarding. So I would highly recommend that one as well. And then moving on to the book that's in 4th place is The Measure by Nikki Erlich. This one was surprised me. I thought it might be good, but it was a standout for me. It did make me cry twice in 2 different spots in the book, so I would definitely say I recommended this one. And so it is about the possibility of one day on everybody's doorstep that is over the age of 21 that they receive a length of string in a box, and you can choose to open it or not. And then depending on the length of the string is how much life you have left to live. Some people choose to open it and see what it is. Some people choose not to, and those repercussions for the individual person, their family members, the community, the society as a whole, and all of those implications that it can lead to have lasting effects through generations. So I did really enjoy that study and that possibility, especially the sociologist and psychologist in me. I did really enjoy listening and getting to know those characters in that specific story. So I'd highly recommend that one as well if you haven't checked it out yet. And so moving on to the book in third place is the actual Dungeon Crawler Carl book. So this one stands in place in just the whole series as a whole that I really truly enjoy getting to know these characters and the story and the writing style. It was just so refreshing to read and start this series when I needed just something different, something funny, something engaging, something to keep me reading. I did truly enjoy this specific story and the storyline and just how all the different possibilities and things that you can get up to, and just very unique writing style of Matt Tinman. I did truly appreciate this one as well. So I won't harp on it too much, but I just wanted to have this one in place of the actual whole series, and from starting this and just having all the fun and, talking about it with my friends and just getting them into reading and listening more and just having those great conversations about what ifs. What if you were having to go down in this dungeon? Would you do it? Would you try and survive without it? What would you do? So I'm just very curious to see and hear and talk about this series, which is awesome to talk about with friends. So yeah, so that is number 3. But moving on into second place is The Haunting of Velkwood. I really truly enjoy this series, this book specifically. It just stands out to me. I still keep thinking about it to this day and the repercussions of what it means for this community, and just the emotions that it evoked in me and the thoughts that I could relate to, and just the stories behind it and the stories of friendship and family. And so it's a horror novel. It's about a neighborhood that gets trapped in time, and only the 3 women that survived getting out, and how they go back into this kind of bubble and locked in time in this specific neighborhood, and what happens so that they can actually escape it or not, depending on what happens. So just a kind of a very interesting take on family dynamics and things that can go on and things that have lasting effects on people. So, and then it's kind of sci-fi horror, but I really did enjoy that one. I did get recommended from Books and Lola, so if you like some of her recommendations, I'd recommend that one as well. And then last but not least, but the number 1 book that I put in this list is Lost Girls of Willowbrook. This is by an Ella Marie Wiseman. So I have read 2 books by this author now and highly recommend this one. Again, I continue to think about this one as well all the time. I did listen to this one, checked it out from the library. Oh, and I also checked out The Haunting of Velkwood from the library, and Soulful Simplicity. So a lot of these are library reads that maybe I need to think about if I want to actually purchase them physically and have them on my shelves or not. But yeah, so I did really enjoy listening to Lost Girls of Willowbrook, and it is about twin women that one of them thought her sister was dead. Her mother and her stepfather told her that her twin sister was dead. In reality, she finds out later, overhearing a conversation from her stepdad, that her sister is still alive, but they institutionalized her. And so she comes to realize that she goes see her sister immediately, but when she gets there, finds out that she is missing. And so they think that she is her twin sister, and so they institutionalize her instead, thinking she's the same woman and not her twin. They don't realize nobody's ever told her that she had a twin, so they didn't believe her when she kept saying that she's not her sister. And so what happens when she gets institutionalized in this awful place, and then what she does to try and escape, does she escape or not? I'm not going to spoil it, but it is very interesting. Or does she find her sister? Her sister's still missing. So it's a very interesting listen. I did really enjoy it. I think it'd be great to read it physically as well if you much prefer that. but both of them are probably very good. So I would highly recommend Ellen Marie Wiseman, as well as a great author that I found new this year. Lots of new authors, which is amazing, and a great read and listen this year. And so hopefully you enjoyed and maybe got one recommendation from me to check out today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. In the comments below, share with me one of your favorite books from the year, or recommend me a book. That would be great. If you're not feeling chatty, go ahead and put in a woman emoji for The Lost Girls of Willowbrook. And then also from the Grady Hendrix book, The Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. And so yeah, so I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If not, have a great rest of your day. Bye.